This is Dragon Videos. I hope y'all are doing well. So once again, we are going back to a Hazbin Hotel video, and this time around, I want to talk about some of the top 10 possible concepts for Season 2. So far, we know that the hotel has been renewed for another season, and that it'll be a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So we'll probably have it around 2025 or 2026. So here's hoping we'll get it sooner than later. And of course, they're currently in recording, but that's really it as far as we know. So no date yet. However, it's not too late to really go over some of the possible concepts that Season 2 is going to tackle. 10 being the least likely, and number 1 being like something we really want to look forward to. So without further ado, let's begin. Oh yeah, and be ready for some possible spoilers. If you had not seen Season 1, I'd recommend you watch it. So without further ado, let's begin. So far, in terms of the V's, we definitely know that they're getting more screen time. Vox and Valentino had their fair share a little bit in Season 1. However, Velvet had the shortest end of a stick, only having 3 episodes and I believe only 1 song, or solo I guess you could say, in Respectless. It will be interesting to see of how their team dynamic is set up and how they're going to step up their game. So far they haven't done much of anything. I know Valentino can do some serious damage considering how much of a brute he is, and Vox is very dangerous with his information gathering, practically peeping from one place to another. So it'll be interesting to see of where that's going to go. Their dynamic can be questionable at times, of course, with Valentino being such an intolerable hothead most of the time, and the other two seeming like they're kind of done with each other at most. They seem to be okay with their relationship, but it'll be interesting to see of how their teamwork is going to cause some real problems for the Hazbin Hotel crew. As far as I know, it's definitely going to be interesting to see more of them frequently in the episodes to come. Let's just hope things don't end with horrible results. Oh crap. I hate when boss music comes into play. Rue, as so far, has been a very mysterious character and is yet to be seen. We've only seen concept designs online of what she's supposed to look like, but the full project will be hard to see. As far as we know, Vivsipop said that she was going to be a looming, ominous appearance. So that could definitely mean that she's being set up to being the ultimate big bad. And how she's going to set up in terms of personality, I have a feeling that Rue is going to be the one who's on Alistair's leash, or more specifically, pulling it around, because she is manipulative from possibly what I can tell at the moment. And it's also a fair bet that Rue is going to do something to Charlie, do some sort of harm, and possibly be a representation to what Charlie stands against. After all, Rue can also mean root of evil. Some people have pointed out that because when you take out the T, it comes across as Rue. Another way Rue can be spelled is R-U-E, meaning regret. So it can be a possibility that Rue is Eve. But as far as I know, I'm hoping for her to be the ultimate big bad of this. And I wouldn't be too surprised if she becomes a threat so big that even the V's are forced to team up with the Hazbin Hotel crew just for the sake of survival. As I said before in my character video, Lute is going to be out for blood next season, and it's understandable why. Her boss, mentor, friend, and possible lover, that's still unclear of why that is, or if it's possible. From what I can tell, though, Lute deeply cares about Adam to a point where she's going to get some revenge, even if it means compromising the rules of heaven just to get to it. So far, she'll have to be in charge of the exorcist. The question is how she's going to do that. Because she's more stricter than Adam, and I can imagine her struggling with the ranks of the exorcist because they've been shattered in a million pieces in terms of confidence. They learned they can actually have a sense of mortality. I don't know if many of them were very ignorant at the time, or if they were just so arrogant they never really believed that anything could hurt them, which definitely adds a level of character into Lute, trying her best to be a leader and understanding what it means to be a leader. This could also set her up to be a good parallel to that of Vaggie, who also takes charge and gets through certain characters, as well as that of, for instance, Alistair and Carmilla. For Lute, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, trying to rearrange the morale from the ground up. And of course, it's going to be hard to tell if she's going to be redeemed in general. She has decent sense of morals, but her tendency to be bloodthirsty is going to make things worse from there. Now that we know that sinners can be redeemed into heaven, it definitely pops the question of what's going to happen to Sir Pentious while he's up there in heaven. The question will be what sort of role will he play and how big of an impact? Well, I'd say it's going to be a pretty big one, especially considering what Sarah's reaction is. It's going to question everyone of how they feel about sinners in general. And of course, I feel like Sir Pentious is going to have some influence over the exorcists, especially with his mechanical skills, as well as that of his relationship with Emily. Of course, he may be a little scared of going near the exorcists, considering what happened, unless if there's this whole memory wipe thing going on that some fans have been saying about, which I hope doesn't really happen, though it can cause some interesting dynamics and an additional layer of world building where some things are a bit more complicated. But putting that aside, I feel like his um, time in heaven may unlock certain characteristics. And plus, it would also allow him more screen time and a chance to shine in terms of his character in general. So, what we've seen so far in Emily and Sarah's relationship is a bit complicated in terms of sibling energy. These two seem to care about each other. Emily is devastated about the secret that Sarah was trying to keep from her, as well as Sarah wants nothing more to protect Emily from a similar fate of that of Lucifer. Which I understand that Sarah just wants what's best for heaven and for Emily. But I do worry that her fears of what's going to happen are going to consume her and turn into something dangerous altogether. As for Emily, upon learning the truth about the extermination, she might take very risky action, and these two ideals will be clashing heads, one way or another. This can definitely result into somewhat of a fallout in their relationship. Maybe it would be a whole season of that, or maybe only a couple of episodes where the fallout's going to be like that. And I'm pretty sure the Sir Pentious might also influence their dynamic in terms of how they're going to handle the situation. Sarah, no doubt, is going to have some issues trying to resolve whatever's going to go in through her head right now. And of course, Emily is just ecstatic that Charlie's idea of redemption was finally coming true, which in many cases is also making the fandom a bit happy about that. But let's just hope that the dynamic between Emily and Sarah doesn't result in an all out angel war. Ever since season 1, a lot of us had a lot of questions buzzing in our heads. Why was Lilith in heaven? Why did she disappear for 7 whole years, leaving Charlie practically alone and her poor husband suffering depression for another 7 years? Some people think it may be because she's somehow owning Alistair's soul, and in some ways is connected to some of the more bigger problems that may lie ahead for our crew. And of course, I'm not 100% convinced that may be Lilith because of the way Lute had said Lilith, almost in a very sarcastic tone. I'm partially convinced it may be Rue in disguise, though I've yet to see that. And of course, Viv made a mention that the mystery of Liv was going to be her most favorite part to go over in season 2. And I know for a fact that when that happens, we're all going to be crying like crazy. So, aside from Baggy, we haven't had a whole lot of backstory with most of our characters. I know Husk also has been mentioned of being an overlord, but we don't exactly know how most of our main characters wound up in hell, as well as what it means for their redemption. I feel like this is something very important to know about because it does help us give a map of how far the characters have come from the time they were alive to the time they have been in their afterlife up to the current events that they are in now. This could also give us an idea about lesser known characters like Nifty and Cherry Bomb, what their deal is and what brings out their psychological motivations, and see what they do. And I'm pretty sure some of us want to understand of why Charlie wants to make the hotel for sinners and why she wants to see the good in people. I know that some of it may be because of what happened with her mom, and of course, the depression that was created for her dad, but at the same time, I feel like there could be a heavier context that might make us cry a bit more. And knowing the backstories we've seen in Hell of a Boss, most of them being a bit sad and making us want to hug the characters, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the same path we're going to see in Hazbin Hotel. Ever since Hello Rosie, many of us are concerned of a condition that Alistair's deal has with Charlie. So far, the only condition with it is that it does not involve hurting someone. However, that condition might backfire in the worst way possible. As far as we know, Alistair has kept his side of the bargain. However, Charlie has yet to keep up with hers. What is the condition with this deal? What does he want from her? It's hard to tell in regards to their relationship, even though they've only been together for a couple of episodes in season 1. It might elaborate more in season 2, and we might get to see of what happens with this deal if it will bring out a very positive outcome for once in Charlie's decisions, or it may once again give something that will horribly backfire in the worst circumstances that could rock the very foundations of hell. So, now that the hotel has been renovated and upgraded into a brand new snazzy look, it definitely raises a question of who will be at the hotel. Some people have suspected that we might finally see Baxter, who seems to be a bit of a fan favorite, a very marine like creature who has yet to show up at the hotel. And he's supposed to be a mad scientist, so he might sort of replace Sir Pentious in that department, but please don't hate me on it. These are just my speculations because they were both scientists. And with Mimsy, well, after what we've seen her in just one episode alone, I'd say the chances of her coming over to the hotel are pretty slim. especially after the whole loan shark fiasco. Then we might see a possibility of seeing Criminy this season. She's supposed to be a hyena like creature in the hotel, so it'll be interesting to see of how she's going to be like when the show actually begins. Even word has been going on that we might see Angel's brother Arachnus at that point. These characters might play a small key role later on in the show, most likely establishing the difficulties that redemption's going to be for Charlie in terms of helping these sinners, as well as bringing out new characterizations, like with Angel just coming in terms with his brother. Oh boy, drama ensues, and get your popcorn ready when that happens. Out of everything we want to see in season 2, one thing is very clear that a lot of fans can agree on is that Angel needs to be freed. Hopefully, in season 2, that time will come. And what I really hope for is that in the song Poison, it doesn't really foreshadow Angel's demise. And that if being freed, it would mean like terminating the contract in a very non-violent way, or something close to where it's a little violent, but not to the point where it causes major casualties. I mean, losing Serpentius was bad enough. Hopefully, if Angel does have his shot of breaking free from his demon contract, which is something that needs to be explored a little bit more as well in season 2. I mean, how do you break a demon overlord's contract? As well as what does Angel have to do in order to break free of Valentino once and for all. Hopefully, it doesn't again involve his death, but it is something that we really want to see in order for him to be fully redeemed. So that's it for today. Is there anything else in season 2 you might be looking for in Hazbin Hotel? Comment, subscribe, and do a like. This is Dragon Videos signing off, and I hope to hear back from season 2 soon.